Nice. Okay. Coming back to what we are here for again. Again, discussing just about what design is, what portfolio is, and all of that, and we'll go through that one by one. Before starting up, again, very interesting suggestion by Pooja on what do we call this PPT, and she only stumbled upon this great title, which is How I Met Your Portfolio, which is purely inspired from How I Met Your Mother, right, Pooja? If I'm not wrong.
Purely inspired.
Purely inspired, right?
Yeah.
Right. So this is again something which we can make lines with, right? Portfolios can be inspired, right? And we can always take inspirations and always make mood boards, right? So it's the same correlation that I am making here with this PPT as well. So I'll be using memes which are primarily being used on How I Met Your Mother, all these visuals, and I'll take you through those memes on this journey of portfolios. Let's go. Before starting up, who I am. So I am a designer, and previously I was an engineer. I just turned into design. I've been into this space for quite some time now. Been building a lot of things. Recently jumped into game design also, which was not my forte, but slowly and slowly picking that pace, learning that part, and building for amazing people of India. And it has been incredible. It has been very humbling, and helping around different people through mentoring and feedbacks with different companies, different people. That has also been going around. So this is more or less me, where I'm coming from and who I am, right? Primarily. Okay. Looking next. So what we are here for, right? It's something we are here for. Interesting thoughts about portfolios, right? What does portfolio mean? What portfolio stands out for, right? And alongside, I'll be giving you some sort of playbook that you can play around with in terms of how does portfolio gets shared around or viewed around in a company or in an agency, or let's say anywhere that you try to share that portfolio with, right? Some of the portfolios that I shortlisted also, so that you can also see and check out that people are building amazing things, and you can also take advantages of this and take inspiration from. Okay, coming back to the basics of what does a portfolio stand for. If any one of you can answer that in the chat, I'd love to hear your responses as to what do you believe a portfolio is really there for. I want to make this engaging so that I can understand your perspectives, and alongside we can go ahead. Okay, Vienna is saying skills, thought process. Nice, nice. Harsh is saying proof of work. Jivanshu is saying reflection of personality. Nice, nice, nice. So I see some of the responses there. Yeah. Showcasing skills, personality. I think skills and personality is something which really people relate with and try to understand that, oh, this is something that a portfolio can be, right? And I think this is where the major complications happen in order to start building a portfolio as to how can I create this sense of personality, right? How do I assume what my personality is, or how do I understand what I'm here for, or let's say what my design style is, or what kind of a human I am, right? So all of these questions we try to answer in terms of personalities. But I also want you to take a step back and understand what does a portfolio do for you. If any one of you can share that, what does a portfolio truly do for you? Communicate who you are. This is what Anirudh is saying. Anyone else? Present you to the market, get you to the dream job, showcase your skills, reflects your design thinking. Right. I mean, none of the answers are wrong. All I can say is what I have keen to seen, during the past years of hiring people and as well as getting hired to different companies. Major chunk of portfolio showcase in your early years would be to get you hired, no matter what you're trying to do, right? It is something which has a collection of all the works you have done up till now. It might not very well be in a shape of a personality, but it should very well convey what you have done in design and what you can truly do in design, right? And those kinds of things might not be presentable in the manner that you want them to be always, right? So what you can always do is understand it from a lens of, okay, this is what I have, what are the next steps that I can take to build the next portfolio, or let's say build the next steps in terms of getting hired at a company, right? What many people do not understand is the user behind these portfolios, who is actually getting to use them. You are a designer, right? You should understand your users. And this is again, if I take an example of a product being built and assuming my portfolio to be a product, who are the users behind it? And accordingly I can take better decisions in terms of creating this portfolio altogether, which is what kind of style can I go with, amount of content I can go with, and the size of, let's say, articles, case studies, projects alongside in the portfolio. It can very well be a Notion doc. It can very well be a bento link. It can very well be a curated Notion doc, right? It has to have a sense of, can, are these information enough to get me hired? Is this information presentable enough to get me hired? Right? So just thinking from a lens of who is my user, who is going to see this. It can very well be a hiring manager. It can very well be an HR. It can very well be a sourcing person who is just trying to source different profiles for their senior managers, right? So understanding who my user is, that would really help you build this better. And again, this understanding always grow in terms of how you are growing in a company, in a space, in your own life and in your own trajectories, right? When I say you're starting up, not many people will have a very polished portfolio, which I also understand, because you have come into the picture just now. I can't expect all the things to be done by you. If you have it, nothing beats that, right? But if you have some sense of, okay, these are the 10 things that I have, and from these 10 things I can pick 4 of these best and I can share them as a bento link or whatever, right? Which comprises of my portfolio. Puru is saying me to HR after sending my portfolio to ye rishta hum pakka samjhe. I wish that was that simpler, right? But it has different implications into it, right? We'll come back to that as well. But again, coming back from a lens of this user, right? Who is this user? What are they trying to do, right? And how can you help in terms of that? So journey of the portfolio is very different for different people. It can even be a link. Let's say you posted a link. It is a website. Some people have stumbled upon it. Maybe it has got a Framer of the Month website award. Maybe it is not that feasible. So you have just posted on Lotion. Maybe if not Notion, it is some way there on the drive. So you're just trying to identify how will this portfolio be made visible to the general public or to the people who will be handling this at the end, right? You have to understand how this journey goes from your side of portfolio to the people that are hiring you for this role. How easy are you making that for them to understand what you can do? What are your processes? Let's say, what are your final designs? Or let's say, what is your overall approach to design? Maybe you want to experiment, right? I hope I'm making sense till now. Do drop in the chat if you are with me on this or still having some doubts along the lines. Nice. Going good. Nice. Okay. Again, let's say if I take an example today of Pooja, right? And now Pooja wants to apply for her next gig, and it can very well be a senior designer or a lead designer, right, Pooja? If I'm not wrong on those lines.
Yeah.
Right. So how will Pooja approach this as a statement? Pooja, if you can share as to how would you have shared the portfolio overall?
I actually don't have a portfolio. I have a
If let's assume that. Let's assume you had a portfolio, then how would you do?
why you had to put me on spotlight, Vishant, like this?
No, it's just a simple conversation as to something you would have in mind, right? These are the, let's say, 1, 2, 3 things that I'll do after
Yeah.
having a portfolio.
I don't know. I'll just share the portfolio with them.
Share the portfolio on social channels, right? That's the first thing that you will do.
Right.
Right. Again, sharing on social channels is one of the best ways to get in touch with, because let's say assuming Pooja has good number of connections which can even help her find this portfolio in a better way, right? Those likes, those retweets actually help this portfolio move to multiple of these communication channels, which you might never be able to do it. So if you have a very good community, if you have very good networking, sharing on social becomes the best part, right? Folks with me on this? Way to go. So Jivanshu recently did the same, which worked very well for him. Nice, 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 nice. So social becomes the first part of it. Next becomes finding that job hunt, right? Right? Finding that company, which company you want to work with. Let's say which domain you want to work in. And from there, it is a question of do they have an opening or do they not have an opening. From there, having a portfolio creates the major difference. If you have a portfolio, in whatever sense it is, it might well not be completed, right? But it has 60-70% things there, right? You can even take that and start having this conversation with the lead designers, senior designers, or even their design heads to understand if somehow you can convert and become a part of their group, become a part of their company, right? So having a portfolio from that sense and having those discussions online, and this is what is known as cold emailing, or let's say cold DMing, right? We try to cold DM people, we try to cold email people with all the links that we have, right? And having a portfolio doesn't do you no harm. It all does all the good work for you, right? Drop in the chat how many of you have done cold emailing before, or how many of you are aware about cold emailing and cold DMing. Lots, lots. Entire career, yes, yes. I can relate. I can relate. Also, do mention how many of you got responses upfront versus you would have to keep on applying and keep on having these conversations to get at least one of the DMs. Got few responses. Harsha got few responses. DM one cold DM in life and got the job. Pranay, you are the boss. You're the champ. That's nothing good at it. Jivanshnu mentioning got the job with cold DMs. A lot of conversation happened via social channels. That's nice. That's nice. So if I take a look at it, not most people get these conversations back, right? It's hard. It's mostly like you apply to 15-20 folks and one of them reach out to you, right? Tell me I'm right here along these lines. Drop in the chat yes or no if that happened. Right. Why do you think those sort of things are happening? No one can be that busy, right? Everyone checks their social channels. What could possibly be going wrong? What might be missing out on these lines? Has anyone retrospected those thoughts ever? Anyone drop in the chat? The question was around, have you retrospected in terms of why you're not getting enough responses, or what could be the reason of not hearing back? Because people are always online. Everyone has a phone on their hands at least 18 hours, 16 hours from the whole day, right? Strategy, knowing your current caliber level profile, approaching with correct strategy, not being specific message, be practical. Okay. So you're not selling what they want to make part of the DM. Right. Yes, this is majorly what ends up happening. You're not having this conversation of am I doing this in the right way? Are you actually sharing the value that they are looking for? Are you actually looking to do one of the projects upfront? Let's say you want to work for Hike right now, right? How can you get me noticed or any other designer noticed without being looking at your portfolio? I think one of the first things that can you do is pick our app, pick our product, go through it, from a sense of new user, and then make points and understand what you can do, what you can remove, what you can fix, or maybe the kind of conversation you are having, the kind of language conversation the product has used versus the understanding of user might be different. And then there are multiple products within the same vicinity, so you can go around and have a competitor analysis also. So without you having a portfolio, even if you do this and share this out with these set of, let's say, designers or hiring managers within Hike, I'm sure some of will notice you. And even if you don't end up getting a job, you will definitely get some sort of internship. And that this is something which I'm sure is relatable to almost all the companies out there in the world. If you do at least one thing or two things for a company and they understand that you're bringing right amount of value, you will be able to get that job. So it's about putting that value. If you're applying for a, let's say, a healthcare company, and you don't push yourself or show yourself someone who has worked in this, or let's say even have a slightest idea of working in a healthcare domain, then how will we able to get that value? Supposedly you're working in a sports domain and now you want to shift to a health domain. Maybe at least do one sort of screen fix, a project fix, a flow fix for the kind of people that you want to work with next. And it can very well be one screen, just to get a sense of I can do this. I already have an experience of, you know, 3 years, 2 years in these different domains. I know I can do design, but just to tell you an understanding and give you an understanding, I can build for healthcare. This is what I've done recently, right? With me on this chat. Let me know. Let me know. Nice, nice. With you. Nice. Great, great, great. Okay, coming back to what happens after this. The major part of, hiring is very tricky, right? And I can tell you from a fact that I have hired designers and it is very difficult to tell no to the other designers. So you must be wondering what is happening, right? I have a good portfolio. I have n number of design projects. Why am I not being hired? What am I wrong? Then you start to retrospect. Is something wrong with my design? Is something wrong with my, let's say, thinking? What has happened overall, right? So these kinds of thoughts come into your mind, right? Have these kinds of thoughts crossed your mind? Chat, please let me know the kind of thoughts that you guys had. I'll wait for some time. Let's think about this once. Anirudh mentioning every day in a life of designer. Self-doubt is very common. Yes, Shashwat. True, that is definitely true. And it still happens. I'll tell you, I'm a lead designer. I'm leading design for a couple of items, but this thing still creeps in. I still have a doubt whether I'm doing this right or wrong. Right? Am I taking the decisions in the right manner? Right? These kinds of thoughts never go away. It is something that you make yourself facts with. Okay, I'm doing these number of things right. I'm taking a right decision. It might not be 100% correct, but yes, I'm going in the right direction. I design something and then I see others work on social media and then I feel my design is so bad. Asit is mentioning that. Yes, we have this feeling. Wrong skills aren't trending. Right, right. But I'll tell you one more thing, which is don't be disheartened too much by this. Because what ends up happening is they might end up hiring someone in terms of what they are missing out on their team. It might not be wrong on your side, but it might be the reason that they are looking for a particular sort of a person to fit in their team. Maybe they already have a very good visual designer. They're looking for someone who can do a research work as well as be a motion designer. Maybe there is someone out there who loves motion but also does user research on the side. Maybe those kinds of people are the ones that they are looking for, and they would find fit in their sort of company or in their sort of, let's say, outing, right? So don't be disheartened about this. You are always doing the right things to approach this, right? You have taken all the right ways to build a case study, right? You have enough links to showcase that you know design, right? The only thing that will hamper your next level of success is confidence. Always have that confidence. That's why people call it fake it till you make it. That's that confidence. It's always telling, I can do this, right? I can make this design. You give me an opportunity, I'll give you the product, right? You give me an opportunity, I'll make things done, right? That's where it goes down, which is having this confidence built in. But remind me, I'll remind you again, don't make it over. Don't be overburdened by this. Have it, but still understand where you're coming from and where you have to go. Always have that, right? That's why people call it fake it till you make it. With me on this chat, drop in some emojis, drop in some thoughts. Let's hear it. Yes, tweet it out. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. So that can very well be the case in terms of why you are not getting hired, right? So then you should take your understanding and see, should I work for an agency? Should I do a freelance work? Or maybe in the current set of environment that we are living in, AIs, chat GPTs, mid journey, stable diffusions, they are all disrupting the market every day. How can I use these tools to take me to the next level? Maybe that's the next set of question you're asking, right? Maybe you want to learn Web3 now. Maybe this is the domain that you want to explore. You want to see, maybe can I be better in this, right? So you're always taking opportunities and always taking these sort of tools to help you build better, help you design better, right? Always be fascinated with what you can do next, what you can do in terms of bringing the next bigger picture, bringing the next bigger impact in your own design journey as well as in the journey of the company that you're trying to provide, right? I hope that makes sense to you. True. Yes. Competitive mindset. Definitely. Never get away from this competitive mindset. It will always help you learn more, build more, right? And understand, right? Not everyone can be. I'm not sure how many cricket fans are there, but not everyone can be Virat Kohli or MS Dhoni, right? But still, there are many great players around the world, right? No one can deny the fact, and they are absolutely amazing players. It all comes down to who you need in a team, particularly, right? It's the same thing as to why RCB has Virat Kohli versus Chennai has MS Dhoni versus Mumbai has Rohit Sharma. It's the same reason. They fit in their culture. They fit in that particular structures. Or maybe that's the way they want to build the team with, right? So understand all these nuances. These nuances are very well out there, right? So take those as an example and understand, okay, if Ishan Kishan having a two made double hundred in a one day can be made to sit away for the next game itself, I'm sure he's one of the amazing person, right? But still having that sense of I can do better and there are more better person out there. Always have that sense, right? And there's nothing wrong in doing it. Shubman Gill batted the next match and he scored a double hundred. So it just goes to show everyone has some potential in one way or the other, and it's the way that you are being utilized in a company, utilized by yourself. So understand those snippets. Where can I make that difference? Right? Does that make sense? Everyone. I'm sure I bombarded the cricket wala thing. Not sure how many followed. But yeah, something I really wanted to highlight.
Yeah. By the way, Vishant, sorry to cut in here, but Pranay asked a very nice question.
Okay. What was it? Could you?
He was saying,
Yeah.
reaching out to person or people in leadership roles can be much better help, than going through the careers page or job applications, like guiding your career growth.
Correct. Absolutely. That's why I mentioned reaching out to these people and understand. Reach out to someone who is fairly active in the company. Don't try to reach out to some dead account. That will always lower your chances of getting hired. Try to reach out to someone or maybe tag someone, tweet someone. Try to get their attention in one way or the other. That will help you more. There are always people who are fairly active for every company. it can be a designer, it can be a PM, it can even very well be a founder themselves, right? Try to reach out to them. So very good point there. Asit, who mentioned that? Sorry, I missed the name.
Pranay.
Pranay.
Pranay. Good point, Pranay, over there. Really good point. Moving next. What does success lead to, right? That's the next sort of thing I want to answer, right? What does truly success mean, right? What leads to getting hired? What leads to getting that next role, right? Understand, as a person, you can do only n number of things in a day. You have very limited bandwidth, you have very limited time frame, right? And you can only do X things in a particular time frame, right? Also understand there is a abundance of information in our current generation. We have a lot to pack in, and we can't pack in everything. That is true for everyone. This is where I think all of these AI tools will help you build better and lead you to next level of success. If you already know character designs, if you already are if let's say if you're already an illustrator, how can you jump and become, let's say, next let's say any of the next designs you want to pick, in terms of 3D designing, in terms of character designing, in terms of any other design you want to pick? There are tools that can help you do that. So why not take advantage? Let's say you are already a very professional product designer, but you don't know how to write things or articulate things, right? There, what you can always do is take help of ChatGPT. It will help you write better copies. It will help you slowly and slowly learn the way of writing things, the way of, let's say, phrasing sentences, the way of writing things in a positive manner versus in a shorter manner or a crisp manner, right? It can even very well give you structured outputs. So understand, can I use all of this? Because when you move to another company, they would very well be using it. And I can damn sure say most of the companies out there are one way or the other way using these tools to enhance their own workflow, as well as, let's say, reach to the next level. And everyone is doing this. I'm sure many of you have also heard this, right? And I can also say many companies do want to learn more and do want to grow more. It's the same competitive mindness. If I can use a new tool and build better, I will always have an advantage over the other person, right? Next question you want to ask is, let's say, but I don't have enough time in my bandwidth, right? How can I do all of this, right? Then understand, can I use any of these in my overall process? Can I include them in a process where I get to use them every day in whatever way it is possible, right? So that at the end of the day, you are not learning a tool for the sake of learning. You are actually utilizing that tool in one way or the other, even if it is just for one thing. Does that make sense to everyone? What I'm trying to say here? Everyone drop in the chat. Yes, yes, yes. Nice, nice, nice. So this is where the success will come to you, which is, you are already at the 90%. Can I use some sort of elements, some sort of structures to move to that 100% mark? Can I ship 5% better? Can I ship 10% better? And use all of these tools to even, let's say, enhance the way you talk about your portfolio. Talk about the words that you use, all your headers, let's say your front main heading that you talk about in your portfolio, right? It can even very well be about your about page, right? It can be quirky, it can be fun, it can even be very abstract, it can even be memed out. All of these can be have an output using ChatGPT. You can always generate all of that, right? So understand, where can I use all of this and make the next best version, or let's say make the best version over there, right? And it's always one step, two step, three step, and slowly you keep on polishing, you keep on making it better. Make sense? Make sense? Everyone? I'm sure I'm not bugging you with all the jargons. I'm not bugging you with all the same gyan. I hope I'm giving you something new, something better to consume. Got it, got it, got it. ज्ञान सुनने ही तो आए हैं. I'm sure you should also take it and implement. Then it would have made more sense. Awesome, 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 awesome. Let's have a quick time check. It's around 9. We'll always take questions at the end. So be prepared if you have any questions. We'll also take those. Don't worry. Okay. Can I request the highest of the fives? We'll make sure we'll make one of the best portfolios within these 3 days. Let's request the high fives in the chat, folks. We'll make sure we'll do the best. We'll build the best. Nice, nice. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Always understand the way you pitch your portfolio will make or break the statement. I have seen a lot of folks building portfolios and just having case studies. I have seen those case studies in n number of portfolios. I have seen those styling n number of ways. It starts the same way, which is problem statement. I did this user research, I build this, I do that, I do that. And when I see the design, when I reach the design, it doesn't reflect what I did. So don't do that. If you can say the story in a different manner, say that story. Don't try to show me all the processes that you have done. The way you can say it, show me that process in the way you have designed it, not the way I want to see it. That makes the actual difference. With me on this, folks? I'm sure you must have also seen the same sort of case studies all the time. Yes, 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 yes. Which is where I'll again say, build it in a way where you are building it like a movie, or you have done it the same way that you are trying to showcase it the same way. Write it in that manner. It will help you ship this better, and the other person reading this will always get a better understanding in terms of what actually went down. Not the way I want to read it, not the way I want to pursue you as a designer, not the way I want to see this as a case study, right? So understand those minimal areas that you can always enhance and always make things better. Cool. Going next. One quote that I can simply say to you: just stand out by being yourself. Don't try to become the next someone, right? Don't try to become the next Virat or the next Dhoni. Be yourself, and that will be the only thing that will make you stand out. I think that's the only thing I can give you at this point. Reflect that in the way you write, reflect that in the way you convey, reflect that in the way you articulate, reflect that way, the way you have, let's say, banner, your image, your about me section, any section that you have in your portfolio. It has to have a lens of you, and that's where the personality will always get built up by itself, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, Pooja is saying right thing. Good designer copy, great designer steal. With me on this, folks. Okay. With that, any questions? Any questions? Drop in the chat. Happy to answer any doubts that you have regarding portfolios, hiring, anything that you have in mind. Send the link of case studies you like. Definitely, I'll share, Priyansh. I'll do tweet that out soon.
Okay, so Vishant, I'll start with my question. Okay,
Yes,
I'll
yes, yes.
do a little abuse of power. Start with my
No
questions.
worries. Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so like how you mentioned about being yourself, right? And
Right.
this should reflect in your portfolio representation as well.
Yeah.
But then when you're creating your portfolio, you're also targeting your HR someone particular, that company, right?
Right.
So should you be yourself, or should you not be yourself and target for the company or for that job role? And what is the middle ground here?
For me, I'll personally tell you, the middle ground would be show this in your upfront, let's say headers or your images, and then talk about all of this in your about me section. Leave this space on where you talk about all things design. Maybe you have some elements floating around, emojis, you're playing with some sticker somewhere. Do that. Don't fill it completely with that style. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, how will your portfolio get selected? Everyone has an eye for aesthetics and design. They might not be able to articulate it, but they like beautiful things. If you have that in one way or the other way, your portfolio is going to get picked. And I can tell you, it takes just 10 to 15 seconds to look at a portfolio and understand whether I want to make it forward in my, let's say, portal as a HR, or do I want to skip this? Can you get that within the first 10 seconds by looking at a portfolio? Just try to solve for this. Can I do that? Can I make sure I have those things? This is the same way you are building a website to download an app. Can you build that trust with the user to download this app? It's the same trust that you want to build to download your resume. Understand those nuances and build from that lens. You always build websites and apps using that brand right awareness and fun, right? That always happens, Pooja, right?
So basically, be yourself, but at the end of the day, you want to get the job. So, like, keep that user in mind, the end user that you're building it for.
Yes. I mean, talk about Apple, Zomato, Swiggy, Uber, Ola, right? I'll talk about a number of apps, but all of these have in common is they still have their brand awareness. They still have their brand guidelines going around. No matter what they do. Zomato is really good with the push notifications. They use it everywhere.
Right.
They are very good with copies and they don't shy away from it.
Vaishnavi is
They're
saying, be
very-
yourself, but not too much, basically. Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
We
But
have
yeah,
a question from Veena. How is
yes.
hiring in enterprises versus startup different?
I think majorly it goes around from a sense of in an enterprise, you might not be aware as to what team you would be working with. But in startup, most of the teams are agile. So you might end up working for the same sort of people or the major product only. Whereas on an enterprise, there are 10 number of things happening, multiple teams within them, and then there's no clear structures or clear, let's say, growth path most of the time in terms of how you get hired and how you get placed, and from there on, what's the growth look like within those companies. I hope I answered your question, Veena.
Yeah. There's one question from Puru,
Yes.
which is like, should there be a difference between portfolio for freelancers and employers? Like, how would your storytelling be different for both?
If you have enough time and bandwidth, make sure you build this. If you have this time frame that I want to build it differently for my exploration basis and for a freelance basis, go ahead, do that. As a freelancer, I'm looking for I can make an impact in X number of days, build something like this. I can do this in with this number of people in this much budget. I build this in this much budget with that time frame. So all of these things daily, matter for freelancers, because clients are always understanding between budget, time constraint, and what you can ship.
Right.
Versus at a startup, they're looking for what kind of person you are, where do you fit in, because you have to collaborate with multiple people, you have to work with multiple people. Are you a good team player? Can you work with multiple people in terms of understanding behaviors, sharing information, and building projects, processes, and everything gets fall into that places. And then your core skill set has to stand out. That is always there. That's why you're being hired. So skills always, but these n number of things also get checked before getting you hired. Versus a freelancer, the second part gets avoided because you are working solely by yourself most of the time, right? You will always have just client calls to go in between. So these things you can tend to skip and focus more on shipping this, ship that, made this, progress that, talk about percentages, talk about numbers, talk about all of that, if possible.
So more and more, if you are creating a portfolio of freelance, you would rather want to go a more number route compared to a job, because in job they're looking for skills and how well you can work with teams. But
Yeah.
when freelance, people are looking for, can you even do the work I'm doing? So you want to show them results in that situation.
Yep.
Makes sense. Awesome.
Assume yourself to be an agency. If you are an agency,
Yeah.
what you can do, right? And then build your portfolio not as a person but as an agency.
Agency.
I can build these number of projects. I can build you a SaaS project. I can build you an app. I can build you a website. I can do 4 or 5 things.
Hmm. I guess Pranay also had a question. It is
Yes.
what makes an award-winning portfolio? The visual part of it, storytelling, or something else?
Not sure. Very subjective. I can't really answer. I've not awarded any portfolios. I've not given away any awards to any portfolios. So might not be the right person to answer this. Sorry, Pranay. Don't really have the act answers for this.
There's one question from Siddharth as well. What is your opinion on including a video which shows your journey or process in like 2 to 2.5 minutes and showing like your portfolio, it on your portfolio, like a video format case study or something?
Which is what we come down to a show reel. Can you build a show
Mhm.
reel? If there is a video support, people will always look at video first before reading anything. If you have that, that's super awesome. You are always now one step closer to having that conversation, because the person is understanding from your mindset by your own voice. So they are building a better connection with you in that manner. Having a video always support. This is something that I always talk to all my mentees that I give feedback upon. If I am having this async conversation with you, and I'm having this conversation, let's say 15 days or 2 months or 1 month down the line, I want you to explain to me what you did, what you changed, and then show me the design in that fashion and with the link. So I can better understand what has happened, what was the mindset, and what changes have you made. So those Loom recordings, all of these really help out. Make sense?
Yeah. There's one question, like an extension to that question from Anirudh.
Mm.
Do video DMs work better compared to cold DMs in real world?
True. But in one way or the other, you will write some way, some sort of information in the text. That's how they will end up reading that video or opening that video. It can very well be a reel. Who knows? Maybe you're creating a good reel. You are a creator all around. Maybe you build that reel. Who knows?
Actually, I was more into that, showing your face upfront,
Yeah.
who you are,
Yeah.
and telling a story and then showing your portfolio. That was my approach.
That
Will
makes
that
sense.
work relevant?
Makes sense.
So I guess this is something I talked about. Like I gave an example of in the chat as well. I was working with this agency called Vele.
Mhm.
What they did with one of their clients is they created this motion design video. It was a client catering to Gen Z, and their
Mhm.
website was boring. So
Mhm.
the video was like 30-40 seconds long, and the things that I talked about were, hey, XS, the client name. We know that you're a Gen Z brand. We are also Gen Z, and you are cool, so are we. But your website sucks. It's boring as hell, even though you're funny. Make your website funny. We excel in that. And the founder contacted them upfront, and they closed a pretty high ticket sign, which is that one video and tagging the founder.
Which is great, right? So they
I know,
told the
right?
story. They told the story in the way it had to be told.
Yes.
What are Gen Zs? Gen Zs are always upfront with the conversation, which the video was that your website is shit.
Yeah.
Let me make it better. They use the same tone, apparently. And I think that's what worked.
I believe.